The Tibetan Buddhification process began by the building of a central temple by the Emperor Songtsen Gampo in the 630s, and an alphabet and grammar were created to turn the language away from character system to alphabetic system in order to upgrade it to allow accurate translation from Sanskrit classics. But it took more than another century to build the first monastery, namely the Samye Monastery, and ordain a few monks, which was when really the process of getting men out of the military orders began to get underway for real. In the 8th century, the Indian abbot Shantarakshita, the Tibetan emperor Trisong Detsen, and the Afghani Indic great adept Padmasambhava worked together to succeed in introducing the countercultural version of Buddhist civilization, the abbot representing the individual vehicle, the emperor the bodhisattva vehicle, and the adept the esoteric, wonder-working, apocalyptic vehicle. The abbot was brought to Tibet by the emperor in order to create the monastery and teach and ordain the monks. But the myth goes that the national warlike mountain deities and the warrior nobles kept undoing the effort. They then invited Padmasambhava, the adept, to tame, as they put it, the national deities. First of all, he humbled the emperor himself by refusing to kowtow, to bow to him, careless of his own life and limb, instead emitting fire from his hand that forced all the warriors and the emperor to bow toward him, avoiding the arc of flames that came shooting out of his fingertips. He then went into seclusion on a mountaintop to take down the local mountain deity and ordered the emperor not to interrupt him no matter what happened, however many storms and lightning, thunder, and so forth, just let it happen. The adept apparently succeeded, since from that time the local deities started to bring back the lumber and supplies to finish the building of the monastery and support the ordaining of the monks. The first monks were ordained in due course, and Buddhist educationalism ensued in force, starting the practical process of undermining and upgrading the militarized conquest culture. In the 9th century, however, the older militaristic and shamanistic culture returned in force and temporarily halted the Buddhification process, what I call. Though it was an attempt to restore the militaristic culture of empire, it failed because the empire collapsed anyway, as the people had begun to lose interest in external conquest. There followed a century of fragmentation, but the more peaceful, less military, inner warrior lifestyle had already caught on as people began to enjoy the more inner relaxed way of living from a non-militarized culture. And therefore, in the late 10th century, some of the regional rulers started to bring back Buddhist teachers, started to reopen monasteries that had not been destroyed, and restarted the translation process and so forth.